Grand Rising, peace and love. Happy Friday. I want to thank you and welcome you to the block. I am grateful for your energy, grateful for your presence, whether you are live or you are watching on a replay. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Conundrums of Blackness. This is a podcast that manifested through this journey that I've been on for my entire life, but more actively so in the past 3 years, uncovering the past in order to move forward is a awkward thing for some of us. I've noticed over the years there are so many uh, moments where things happen and we come to a, when I say we, I mean referring to a particular individual, a particular moment. We face adversities and sometimes we don't really comprehend why or even what to do about them in a productive way. And doing my family research, I have been placed in a space of trying to comprehend what has happened to my loved ones, my ancestors, my parents, my family, and what effects are still lingering today. And the more I study, the more I find, and the more I give space to not know the answer, but to seek the answers, the more I am finding. And you would think that, learning these heavy burdens would be detrimental to my process. Well, I'm learning that it's the exact opposite. Trying to comprehend the traumas that have been shared generationally amongst the family, identifying these traumas, I'm also learning that there is a connection. There is no separation. My mere existence is connected to a bigger picture that some days it's a little harder for me to accept, but I do accept it. And I'm learning that some of us, when things have happened to us that we don't really know why, or we blame ourselves, we may be looking at things wrong. For a long time, I had no idea of the stressors that my family had to endure. And taking time now to learn what happened to Mama and Papa, and I mean, a whole lot of them. I mean, there was a time when I didn't even know you had as many grandparents as you do. And sometimes I wonder, is the disconnection that was created with the founding of the United States? Sometimes I wonder, are we really looking at the ramifications correctly? Are we seeing any correlations with our families and the way we are with one another? Is there a correlation within this blackness that the United States created? The more I study my DNA and my family trees, and I have yet to see a result linking me to black or white. I see paperwork where people have used these terms, but I have no foundation for these terms that we are packaged into and we live by in this social construct. When you see me, you see my skin color. Your ideology is not too far behind your perception of me. Have we internalized this with each other? And I won't answer the question, I'll just ask the question. Is there a direct correlation of the strain in our families? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, be blessed, be grateful. You know, trying to be human, trying to be humane in a inhumane situation is hard. It's possible, but it's very stressful. The fatigue is real. The generational fatigue is real. The generational battles, they are real. Being the bigger person that I've grown into, taking on this matriarchal position, and that just was given to me today by our close friend Veronica. I love you so much. You said something today that kind of stuck with me as always. Um, Taking on this role that most would shy away from, shame away from, run away from, taking on this goal, I had no idea I was doing this. I really just wanted to know who I was. Living separated from the truth, even though the truth, as disturbing as it was still mine. And I wonder how many families are torn and severed in many spaces because of this form of prejudice that we've embraced in order to look, feel, and act a certain way. And all I can really do is wonder because, I mean, not many people sit and rationalize, the families, the black, misclassified black families' actual position in this society. One, blackness to me is a conundrum. The only roots blackness in the United States has is slavery. And I will admit, I have located slaves on my tree. It was shocking, even though I've been taught this. It was more shocking to know that that wasn't all on my tree. So I've been sandwiched in this box, and it seems my entire family has been sandwiched in this box, and then there's a separation of those who are able to pass. What happens to those who couldn't pass, like my father and his siblings? What happens to me? I know Grandma passed for white. I see the diversity in my tree, but I'm not allowed this diversity inside my family or in this society. I consider that a conundrum. It feels like a conundrum. I want to be who I am, and I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to stand on that. How does that fare in the family and in this society? Just questions. This battle of the races, I'll call it, even though I only recognize the human race, I'm only one person going up against a construct that really doesn't welcome me as a valid scholar or reality, which amazes me. This battle is so internalized in our families, in our relationships, and it's exhausting. I'm learning so much so fast, but I also want to be a resource of healing, mainly first to myself, then to my child and my loved ones, and then hopefully the community and the rest of the world. That's the way it goes. Energy flows. I want to thank you for pulling up on the block, joining me for my second episode of Conundrums of Blackness, where today I just want to talk about the prejudices, excuse me, the shared traumas that our ancestors have had to endure pre-founding of USA to the current. I would love to say we are past this ugly history. I would love to say that, but I can't say that. There's so much work that needs to be done, and I'm really grateful for this calling. I'm still aligning with this process because for a number of years, I knew there were issues, but I had no idea how to go about trying to address them. And I also had no idea if I was even capable of doing what it took. I never planned to do my DNA and just fall into this. I call it a rabbit hole. It might not be a rabbit hole, it may just be my calling, but I call it a rabbit hole because I literally had no clue what I was uncovering. And as painful as it is, there is a balance in just knowing that, things, really bad things happened to my ancestors before I arrived. So when I look at my past and I look at my childhood, I can give grace to everyone involved. I don't know if everyone has the power of doing that. I don't even, to me, it's a superpower considering the amount of things I uncovered. But I can't imagine living my entire life in one of these individuals and having to endure the shame and holding on to this hurt and this pain and probably not even knowing where it came from for them. Being born thinking you were a mistake. These things are real. These emotions and these frequencies that cause these thoughts are real. Being able to identify trauma in others can help you protect yourself. Knowing what I know now, had I known this when I was younger, I probably would have been some type of healer to my family. I would have hoped that, if the tables were turned and I knew some of the things that I knew now, I would be able to go to grandmom and say, Grandma, I'm sorry that this happened. Like, we have very minute spaces where we can really get work done. The real psychological, emotional work, spiritual work. Doing it by yourself is amazing. I do it often, but there's a problem when you're growing and the society around you is staying the same. Our ancestors faced that every generation. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating sometimes to look out at us as a people and see the severedness that we share. Every new child is born. Where's the fresh start? I can sit and think about both of my maternal and my paternal side, and I could probably cry for days for what they all had to endure. And there's so many stories I still have to uncover. Why am I doing this? What does it matter? Even when I go to the Bible, my favorite portion is honor your mother and father. So even though I can't be what I think honoring looks like to my parents, I believe that this journey is my way of honoring my ancestors, not ignoring what they went through, as so many of us have done, not squeezing their life into this one tiny narrative of what is it? Black people are lazy, men don't stick around. All of these labels and just simple explanations for a complex situation always give me the creeps. There's no way you can surmise us as a people in a statement or in a one hook verse. It's impossible. Some of us have been through so much we are unexplainable. Like my cousin said yesterday, unexplainable. Even me, I sometimes I marvel at myself because there is no way that I should even be this strong, be this graceful, be this grateful for everything I've been through. Like, I'm literally grateful. Had I not went through what I went through, I would not be strong enough today to digest what needs to be digested on this journey for growth. I'm learning that there are so many ways that we neglect ourselves when it comes to our ancestors. We literally don't do the work that they left for us to do. Even in a broken family goes through a trauma. Then what? What happens after that? Does everybody go their separate ways in shame and resentment? That's normally what I see. I experienced that myself. I don't think that's okay. I think that In order for us to be successful as a people, as a species, being aware of when there's work to be done, instead of choosing the so-called easy way out, just ignore the trauma as if it doesn't exist. It doesn't do anything. I'm a witness for that. That would be a whole nother life. I was actually actively treating situations that were false. So in turn, I was ignoring the actual problem, and it was a split. I was in split energy for over 40 years. When I tell you fight or flight is exhausting, I've been sleeping for 3 years now. Simply because now that I know what the true issue is, which my family chose to hide for their own reasons, and I don't do judgments and I don't do blame, but I do the work that's been left on my shoulders that I've been carrying. I remember one time I went to the doctor because I used to have to go to the doctor all the time for panic attacks. And when he spoke to me, tears from 1000 BC came out. I'm not even joking. I was shocked at how broken I was when he asked me, "Are you okay?" It feels like nobody had ever asked me that, and I just exploded with emotion. And he said in that moment, "When did this happen?" Not this as in a particular moment. He meant this is a old wound. You did not just get this distraught from something fresh. This is an old wound, is what this doctor told me. Me being oblivious to my own truth, I didn't know, but he was right. He was so right. And in that moment, I should have went to all of my family members and demanded the truth, and I probably wouldn't have got anywhere. So this is my point of this podcast, which will be multiple series episodes. Um, what do we do if we don't identify these traumas that are happening in our homes and in our communities? What do you do after that? Do you ignore the trauma? Because most of us are ignoring the trauma that we actually have because we don't even know. We don't even know. And individually, that's a problem. That could be why we can't get it together. I mean, opposites do attract, but this is a different frequency. Spiritually, the scars and the wounds, whether you know they're there or not, they're there. And if you're not careful, you will destroy everything that you love, including your own family. Including your own family. I won't sit and give examples. We all know different examples of when the family became detrimental to a child, a teen, an adult, family member, society. No one says a word. I get that some of these things that have happened and that will happen, that they are remnants of things that came before. Everything is connected. No one is born disconnected. The disconnection comes from this society. I remember watching my mother raise her flag for Memorial Day. Very huge memory for me. But I also remember her tears. What she told me about what happened when she came back to the States from fighting world wars. My mother. Where did the resentment go? It passed on to me. Unhealthily, might I add. Now, I could have lived my entire life internalizing what happened to these people, internalizing it, and blaming myself, drinking day in and day out just to numb myself from who I really was. And I've been there, and I'm grateful that I'm not there anymore. And I'm grateful that during this journey of knowledge of self, reconstruction, and awareness and mindfulness, during this journey, I have learned grace. I've also learned serenity. I can't change the past, but I am vowing and promising to learn from it. Not picking and choosing the good parts and sticking with that. But I know the society is an insane asylum, but picking all of it, just like my tree. Peace and love to my ancestors, my relatives, my loved ones that walked this land and other lands before I got here. I really want to give thanks. I'm really giving thanks to God. I'm just going to say God, even though I don't like that word, that English word. But you know what I mean. For just for the lack, for the non lack of communication. Um, I want to thank God because clearly He believed in me to get this far. So I had gave up many, many, many times. But I'm really grateful for this journey because I'm learning that everything is not perfect and there is work to be done and there are things that I can do just to plant seeds because I've honestly changed the course of my ancestors' direction and their path through my actions today in my family. I'm grateful to be a homeschool, like a whole homeschool. I am a school. I think that is so beautiful. It was a beautiful achievement. I wish I had done it earlier. You know, I'm reversing some of this shared trauma in my family and I'm seeing results. I'm learning new family members, more family members, finding them daily. And this process of reconstruction is very real for me. I want to thank my block captains here on the block for sharing my videos, for your comments, your likes, your dislikes. What do you think about the goal of identifying shared traumas in your family's ancestry? Do you see any patterns? Do you not see any patterns? I've got so much to talk about on the next genealogy and chill. I'm almost afraid I'm going to have to censor myself and let some of these things, because it gets bad. There's one line on my tree. I don't even want to say it. There's so much going on from these people who were enslavers. So much going on. I have them in my blood as well. And to stand here, and look at myself in the mirror and embody all of who I am, I have to take the good and the bad. I think that we learned along the way somewhere that that was not acceptable. Not understanding that neglecting the negative aspects of what's going on in your loved ones' lives in your life is a big mistake. It causes harm. It causes resentment. It causes shame. It causes embarrassment. It causes deep wounds that are going to bleed out until they are addressed. I'm a 40 something year old wound. And I say that proudly because I am who I am and I'm embracing who I am and I'm embracing this journey. I would love to be the matriarch of my family. Well, on one side, on the other side, I'm the baby. But I would love that position. I don't think people even think that that's a running, like, that's a spot that you want to be in. I have found beautiful cousins on both of my parents' sides, and I'm just so grateful for them. And this experience is changing me, and I want to do better. I want to do more. I want to be able to look back when my great grandbabies are running around, look back and say, it is all well. And I could pray until my ears fall off. I have to do the work if I want the results. I have to do the changing. I can do that if I know where the work needs me. Again, I want to send love to all my ancestors. I know they are so proud. All of my aunts and uncles, the Williams, the Jones, the Browns, the Stewarts, the Bufords. I'm really proud of I'm really proud of them. Even though there has been some disturbing developments, I'm super proud of them. I don't know if I could have been as strong as they were dealing with all of the pressures and all of the hate and the prejudices that they had to endure and the assaults and giving birth to children of abuse. Um, Consistently over and over and over and over again. It is heartbreaking, and I know that I carry this as wounds. My mere existence is connected to America's history. My whole DNA is connected now, after all of these wars, to this history. And I ask that God keeps working with me and growing me and helping me stay strong and stay aware of my own family and my own walk and my own light and try to be a light for others, trying to stay positive. And it's really not that hard because I have a beautiful support system. Identifying the traumas of our ancestors is important. And you may not share the same traumas as me and my family, but we're all in this process together. Whether you're actively growing or not, you're in this process. And this is where I come back to conundrums of blackness. It is a conundrum to be diluted. That is a conundrum. To dilute a human being, for this human being to step out of themselves and be someone that they are not, and the pressure is on for you to be who you're not, that is a conundrum. Not sure if I can pull that off. I'm not sure if I even want to. I'm not sure that I can train my children and my loved ones, the youth, to assimilate into something that is a conundrum. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this all wrong. But that's where I stand. Identifying the shared traumas of our ancestors is a part of healing. If I have a wound on my leg and I ignore it, what happens? I get infected. Our families have been infected by traumas, and ignoring it is not the solution. Clearly, it's been ignored for over 400 years. It's all been ignored, all swept under the rug. Well, I set the rug on fire. Everything is exposed. The truth. I want to live and die by the truth. I don't want to live by falsities and lies and deception. The only one who runs from the truth is the one who isn't ready to face it. I'll be glad when we as a people are ready to face and stand up to who we are. I mean, not who someone told us who we are. I mean, like who we really are. I hope I live to see that day. Again, I want to send love to my ancestors. I want to thank each and every one of them, whether they like me or not. I really thank them for. I want to say thank you for serving. I really thank them. I really do. I honor them because without their walk, I wouldn't be here today. And I'm hoping that one day we will all have supportive families, supportive individuals, left and right, up and down. You go outside, there's some support. Like, I really, 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 really hope for that day. They just found two young boys in the Harlem River. They're asking the community for the videos. I just, I shiver every day. I shiver every day for these babies, surrounded by people who do not know who they are and do not care who they are. It's heartbreaking. And it's not going to stop until we stop it. So hopefully I said something that made you think. I hope all is well in your family. I want to send you peace and love. Identifying the traumas that our ancestors went through is not complaining. It's actually doing more for us here who are remnants of their shared trauma. Their life here when the USA invaded, amongst others. The conundrum of blackness is a real thing. Being stuck between who you are and what this society who hates us wants us to be is a conundrum. It's a conundrum. There's 492 pages of abuses in my playlist. Legal, legalized abuses, social construct abuses, political abuses, medical abuses, harm, neglect. We carry this. I carry this. I won't put no one else in this. I carry this pain. this heaviness. And I don't carry it because it's a badge of honor. I carry it because it's real. It's a part of me. It's how I got here. I didn't get the happy American baby story. I got the trauma story. And I do just fine with it because at the end of the day, everything is connected. It's all connected. My ancestors went through what I had to endure and worse. So, how dare I sit on my hands and act like I can't do anything? I can. I can talk about the problems. I can change my ways, my thinking, and my own family, readjusting the family through speaking, free speaking. Something that my ancestors, my mother, my own mother would have told me, you don't have feelings, you don't talk about it. Whatever hurts you, you hold it. Just imagine all that these people held on to their dying day. She passed a lot of that pain to me, and I'm not mad at her for it. I thank her. I thank her. I thank my mother. I thank my father. I thank my other father. And I thank my biological mother. I thank them all because they prepared me for this process of growth. Would I like to see this growth for everyone? Of course. Is it for everyone? Yes. Will you heal the way I am? No, you have to do it for yourself. Our children need stability in their own people. I, as a child, needed stability and nurture and safety in my own people. Are these shared traumas from our ancestors, are they going to hinder our growth? Only if we let them and we hide from them. I don't blame my grandmother for what she did, but I can't ignore it because it's bigger than me. So many lives have been affected by a choice that was made so many years ago. How many remnants are there of these choices that people were forced to make? Whether I comprehend why is irrelevant because no matter what, I'm a remnant of trauma. There's no complaining. I am grateful for my life. I could have been thrown in a trash can. I could have been aborted. So just for me to know that I walk with purpose, and all these other decades before I did not walk with purpose. I walked with emptiness, not knowing, disconnected, severed, hearing a call, but I just couldn't connect with it. I couldn't connect and connect with it. There was no connection. But I'm hearing this call and I'm hearing this call and I'm feeling this pain and I don't understand what is going on. Being separated from yourself is unhealthy. Even being separated from the trauma of our ancestors is unhealthy because we're going to repeat it. If we're not paying attention, we're going to repeat it. If we're not paying attention, we're going to repeat it. And I'm not making this up. I've seen it with my own eyes. I just walked in the kitchen a while ago. My daughter was standing there looking like my ex-husband. And I made her laugh when I said it. We are connected to our families, our ancestors, your parents. This is why that honor your mother and father thing, honey, I'm learning what that really means. Giving honor to my ancestors. Without them, I would not be here today. Without them, I would not be here today. And I'm not taking anything away from God. I know everybody always wants to read into what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying, not what you're thinking. My relationship with my higher power is so personal to me. I rarely share it, and I only use the word God when I'm communicating with someone else so they can know what I'm talking about. I don't really fellowship well with others. Just call me a little church burned out. I just find more solace on that level, alone, privately. You know, we're all different. I'm definitely different. Again, please thank you for joining me for episode number 2, identifying the shared traumas of our ancestors pre USA to the current. Something that our ancestors never really got a chance to do was to talk about their traumas, talk about the sexual assaults, talk about the children born of these assaults, teach these children that even though the way you came into this world was vile, you are a star. I don't know how many conversations our ancestors got to have with, each individual 14, 15 children. So imagine the remnants. Just imagine the remnants in your essence and you and who you are. And I'm talking to myself too. I just found a reverend on my tree. I wasn't going to share this yet, but I'm going to throw it out there. I just found a reverend on my tree who had numerous children with a slave mother, a reverend. Imagine the remnants of that bloodline. Just imagine that. That woman was not his wife. He was assaulting her. I don't need anyone to tell me that. I don't need her to be here to tell me that. And then to know how I got here. These remnants aren't going anywhere until we stop them. I was disturbed when I found that, and I just really, really wanted to do this episode on identifying these traumas. And I won't go into each trauma individually. We are all grown here. We know the issues, the ones that people don't like talking about. Like how we always had the one uncle in the room and nobody could go in there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Addressing these traumas are important. And it actually honors our ancestors. And I'm pretty sure it pleases the Most High. It also builds you and rebuilds you and reconstructs your perceptions and the way you think and the different choices that you make. Learning who I am, all of it from the good, the bad, and the ugly, it has really matured me. And it's also made me realize that this black conundrum is bigger than me, and I can't internalize the conundrum. I can separate myself from the conundrum and address it from the outside looking in. And this is how I raised a graduate by myself through all the adversities that we had to face. I'm proud. I know my ancestors are proud. And I know the Most High is proud of me as well. And I'm going to keep going. So next Friday, we're going to do episode 3. I'm sorry, not next Friday. We do this every other Friday. So we'll be back. I don't know what date that's going to be. We'll figure it out. Please forgive me. Um, Saturday, tomorrow, I will be joining DI's TV on her channel. We will not be doing it at 12. We'll be doing it at 3. It's kind of like summertime now with the children, so the getting up early thing is kind of ugh. But then I have a meeting in the morning with a family member. We're working on some serious research, and I'm just so amazed at how many relatives I had out here and didn't even know it. And doing this work is important for us as a people. Like I said, one day I want to see all of us as human beings being humane to one another, mothers and daughters, daughters and fathers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, nieces, nephews. I want to see us all be family. We got a lot of healing to heal. We got a lot of healing to do. I'm going to be healing for the rest of my life. But then again, it's a choice. Some people are comfortable losing their loved ones to the streets or to hate or to whatever the vice is. I think we've gotten numb to it. I get praying. Yes, I do. But what are we going to do as a people? I remember somebody told me when Gina had first got sick, don't worry about it. Just pray. Honey, let me tell you something. Over 367 days a year, I had to work to keep this baby alive. Did I pray? Of course. But I also did my work because faith without work is dead. I just want to leave these words with you today. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. I want to thank you for joining me for Conundrums of Blackness, episode number 2. Please make sure you like, dislike, share. Please comment. If you have any topic suggestions you want me to bring up, shelfondtheblock@gmail.com. You can always email me. I want to really, really thank you for sharing your energy with me. And yes, we take dislikes over here as well. Make sure you have a beautiful Friday. Be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. We are surrounded by some people who are not balanced. So make sure you stay balanced, stay aware, stay safe. Thank you again for joining me. I love you.
Social responsibility isn't a deep shift because it's a voluntary tactic, a reaction to a certain market at this point. And as the corporation reads the market differently, it can go back. One day you see Bambi, next day you see Godzilla.
A safe space where facts can be processed for